We are live with the part of the interview that people seem to be very interested in these ones I've been doing. That's the weaknesses section.
Yay!
So Rachel, if you want to take it away.
Okay, I'm not very good with money management or time management. I have a terrible memory. Terrible memory. I'm disorganized. I have severe social anxiety sometimes. Low confidence sometimes. This was a big one that if I am emotionally or physically uncomfortable, that it's pretty much ruins any chance of me accomplishing anything until I take care of that situation. um, I wrote things down, so I'm looking over here. I need a lot of time alone in a safe haven. Uh, I hate doing anything that isn't fun or interesting for me. Like kind of a big baby. Um, I hate having to be serious and deal with practical survival issues. And I don't like knowing about all the negative things that are happening to people in the world. So I avoid politics and current events entirely. And I don't really have a clue about what's going on. Let's see. My emotions can very easily get the best of me. I'm very sensitive. And then when that happens, I can't concentrate or think logically until I calm down. Um, and I usually need to isolate myself in order to be able to do that. And I wrote, so I don't like to cook and clean. I'll do it because I have to, but sometimes I let those things go, probably more than I should. Um, and then it's a big ordeal to take care of. And hurts that I can become depressed if I'm not careful about, taking care of my things that are having positive stimulus and a good atmosphere. I can easily become depressed. And I put very responsive to atmosphere as a weakness because if the atmosphere is bad, then yeah, it's all.
You said you don't like to cook and clean, but like earlier on, you said that you're a clean freak.
Oh, you're breaking up a little bit.
Oh, you said earlier on that you're a clean freak. You're very OCD about cleanliness.
Oh no. Mm-mm.
Did you mention
No, I
wash?
do have bleach wipes.
Yeah.
I do have bleach wipes everywhere. Um, but no, I'm definitely not a clean freak. Uh,
No.
when especially in the kitchen and the bathroom, I feel like you need to bleach things, but I wouldn't say I'm a clean freak. I would say that I'm worried about things being dangerous. Um, I, definitely not proactive enough about cleaning to be called a clean freak, but I do like things to feel nice. So that's when things start getting cluttered and it's affecting my mood, then, or if people are coming over, that's when everything gets cleaned up.
Right. Any other things on the list?
Hmm.
We've only been going about 3 minutes.
Yeah. Well, I guess I could try and go function by function. It's hard
Yeah,
for
if you
me
want to. Yeah.
to have things organized in my head. I have to put it on paper. I have to be able to visualize it and see it. Uh, the way that some types, especially logical types, can just sort of have a map of everything in their head is not easy for me. I need to be able to see it in order to make sense of it, I guess. Um, what else? practical stuff I'm not good at. I have anxiety just from imagining what the filing cabinet. It's in the basement. I start to feel worried, like, oh, well, what if I go to get something and I didn't put the birth certificates in the right file and it got lost somehow, or someone's social security card is missing, or, I'm not going to have the right tax records that I need, like all of that kind of stuff. I just, I make it such a huge thing out of having to deal with it that it's like the build up to actually having to deal with something like that where legal documents are involved is worse than actually doing it, because I will stress myself out about it so much. What else? Okay, so I thought about the logical functions. I'm not very good with SE, I don't think. I feel like it's hard for me to just follow an impulse without thinking about, well, what's going to happen if I do that? And could it be dangerous? And
Are you very sensitive to it in other people? You notice aggression very easily.
oh, aggression?
Yeah.
Yeah. The thing is my 7-year-old is an ESFP, I think, and I get along really well with him, and I love his just how he's always in the moment. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. I think it's very endearing and genuine, and I like it. And he cracks me up too. So, what else? Let's see. Yeah, I'm horrible at sports, and I don't care about being competitive at all. No amount of caring is happening with that. Um, what else? I feel like sometimes I have a hard time socially. Um, Not just because of the anxiety, but just because I want to be by myself a lot. And I don't necessarily care about things just because other people think I should care about it. It's more if I'm interested or if I think it's fun. So, um, let's see. Intuition. I don't know if I have weaknesses that relate to intuition that I can think of. I don't know. Maybe if you guide me a little bit, I can talk about some more things that I'm bad at. I think I've said a lot of things, so I just
Yeah.
said them very quickly.
Yeah, NE is pretty strong in both INFP and ISFJ. It's auxiliary in INFP and inferior in ISFJ, but in Model G it's quite strong at close range, and it has that thirst for novelty. ISFJ is quite weird because they have that attraction towards cooking and aesthetics for their own enjoyment, but they're also TE break or TE polar, where they don't like to go for the rigmarole of work. But then you also said that you like clear instructions.
Yeah, I do. Is that not in line with ISFJ?
That's very in line with ISFJ in Victor's SCI profile, very much in line. But a lot of the values are NF. I think we've gone over. You were saying, I don't know, those examples, are there any that you want to put, do you think you can give good examples of on that list?
Well, when I said I have bad memory, I kind of went into that with a, maybe it was the last video? I don't know. Where I need to
Well, you
write
just proved
things
your point.
down. Oh, yeah. There you go. Yeah, I have a really bad memory, and I forget people's names. I remember everybody's face, but I forget people's names and I forget dates. I hated in school the subjects where you had to memorize dates. Oh gosh, that was the worst, I think. Um, Being disorganized. I actually really enjoy organizing things, but then I very quickly become disorganized again. Um, what else do I have here? Emotions getting the best of me, and physical things or my environment getting the best of me. I mean, that's,
What kind of emotions get the best of you?
oh, if I get upset, like I feel like somebody said something to me that where they were being mean or they disapproved or they thought that I was being offensive or rude, and I felt sure that I was being fair, um, or reciprocating what they had presented. So yeah, sadness and anger, I guess.
Right.
Um,
Do you like being a part of groups?
oh gosh, it depends on the situation. If it's like school, no. If the psychic groups that I'm involved in, I get excited about going to that, which is the teacher that I've talked about to you before. It's like a group. Um, I guess it really depends on what the purpose of the group is. If the purpose of the group is to accomplish some task that I already don't feel good about doing, then no, I would not like it. But if the
What do you,
purpose of the group is for something fun, then yeah.
what do you think of the words duty and obligation?
I don't like having obligations. I do think that you know everyone has duties to each other, and the people that you're really close to, you would have the most duties with them, and then not so much with people outside of that. And also, I don't. This is gonna sound terrible, but this is a weakness video, so I don't have a lot of friends in real life because I feel like I don't want to fail people. And then if I do build a friendship, that I need to be available to that person. I need to be able to spend time with them and that sort of thing. And I don't want that to fail in that aspect. So I try to avoid building relationships with people in real life outside of my family and my kids because often that's already a lot for me to handle. And so I don't want to bring more people in who I feel like I'm failing in some way.
What do you think of safety and security?
I spend a lot of time thinking about safety. Uh, Gosh, when I first became a mother, every time I went out driving, in the car, I was terrified because I just was, hyper aware of how dangerous the situation is to just be driving in a car. Um, I think about safety and danger a lot, especially having a little SP child who has like no awareness of how dangerous the things he's doing are. Um,
How about before you had children? How big was thinking about safety and security and being sensible? Or did you not
well,
think or did you not think about those things?
what did I really have going on in my life with school? I I had Cole when I was 20, so there's not a lot of time that lapse between what I consider
Mm,
childhood and now parenthood. But I would say that had a strong sense of, well, going back to duty as far as, oh, it's a class that I have to be quiet and serious, do my work. Remember, we talked about that before. Um, Safety. I'm trying to remember my feelings about safety that far back. I wasn't much of a risk taker um, until a short period when I became like, very impulsive to the point of being reckless. Um, you said safety and security.
yeah.
Security. I don't know. Other than not really stepping out of my comfort zone much with the social anxiety and just the role that felt I was supposed to play in any given situation. And I
How
guess I can apply to that.
how much do you plan ahead in terms of financial security?
Not at all. I'm terrible about that sort of thing.
Right. Um, what do you think of the word responsibility?
I don't like responsibilities, to be honest, but at the same time, I think I spoke to you about this the other day where I feel like if I'm supposed to take something serious and be responsible and the other person involved it isn't doing that, then I get upset because it's like, man, I didn't want to come here and stop having fun or being lazy or whatever it was that I prefer to be doing in the first place, but I had to do that. I had to be responsible. So you should be taking this seriously too, sort of thing.
What do you think of stability?
Oh, I'd say it's a good word. Stability is much better than chaos. Um,
Do you value it?
oh, yeah, sure. I don't like feeling like I don't know if things are going to be okay. I don't imagine that anyone would like that. But then my brother, he seems to put himself in situations quite often where it seems like there's no stability, no indication that things are going to be okay, and he's unaware of it. Hasn't even noticed that it's a problem. Oh, I'll just sleep on the ground outside if I have to. No big deal. That type of thing. But for me, I think about that a lot.
Um, do you respect the opinion of experts?
Oh, yeah. Well, it depends. That really depends. I think some people who are experts are full of it, But usually I'll look for what is the established, accepted, fail-safe method of doing something, because I want, to do something right. But when it comes to things that oh, go ahead.
That is a key point. If we explore that a bit, I feel like an analyst at the moment, and like getting to the key thing in like cracking a psychological case. To talk a bit more about that, when you said you were seeking out the right way to do things, could you give us some examples of that?
Okay, well, say I recently I thought, oh, I want to learn how to blow dry my hair so it will look straight. And this is something that I've never done because I just didn't want to bother with it. And so I, went on YouTube and looked for girls that had a really pretty hair and try to find a video where they're being very, very step by step. Now you do this. This is the tools that you need, and this is the result. And there you go. So I don't know if that's
Right.
really what you're looking for, though.
Well, this is a bit from they trust hierarchy and authority, and may be surprised when others go against these social structures.
Okay.
What do you think of that?
Um, okay, yeah, I would say I don't know if I think of myself as trusting authority, but I would definitely be the person that's like, is it okay if we're doing this? Is it okay that we're here? Are we allowed in here? Are we supposed to, that sort of thing. So I guess I do have respect for those sort of rules.
Another one of these is from Linda Berens's needs and values of of a certain temperament. People of this temperament prefer cooperative actions with a focus on standards and norms.
Okay, well, I can talk about how I am with my kids, maybe a
Yeah.
little. Uh, I try and set up things like, okay, if the dishes are dirty in the dishwasher, I expect you to load your dish when you're done eating. I expect you to always wash your hands after you finish eating or using the bathroom before you do anything else. I expect you to hang your coat up in the closet when you get home from school. I have all these little rules that they know exist and oftentimes won't follow. And yeah, I don't want to have to enforce it all the time. I just want it to be like, this is what we do. And as long as we do this, then I won't, micromanage you, but you have to do this. So,
Right. And then we've got their orientation is to their past experiences, and they like things sequenced and structured.
well, I would say again, when I was writing my to-do lists, and I look at it and it's like, wow, this thing, the times are mixed up. These are different levels of priorities, and so I look at it and it just looks like a mess. And I would rather have it sequenced in a way that makes sense. So yeah, I guess so.
It's got here for. Oh, here we go. They tend to look for the practical applications of what they are learning.
Yeah, I would say so.
Usually talented at logistics and maintaining useful traditions. Right. Here's a bit from Dario, neuroscience personality. All SI types show high activity in region T5, which helps us attend to social feedback. When we receive negative input from others, such as frowns, this region evokes a feeling such as embarrassment, guilt, or shame that prompts us to adjust our behavior. The feedback triggers the feelings. It doesn't matter whether we actually acted inappropriately. The SI types are amongst the most sensitive to these feelings. So even if it's not your fault, even if you've done nothing wrong, if someone frowns at you, does it instantly make you feel bad?
Well, yeah.
Or do you ignore it?
Do you remember the other day when I was waiting for the kids to get on the bus and that woman walked by and spit at us? And I was just like, I was shaken up for hours thinking, what did we do to offend her? What did I do wrong? What do I do if she comes again tomorrow to make this situation better?
And she actually spat at you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, that's a different. It's just like if someone, but just generally, if you're talking to someone and there's a frown on their face, and if you know you've not caused it, does that still make you feel bad?
I would be concerned about them.
No. What I think Darius trying to get at is the SI types will almost objectively react to emotions.
Oh, yeah. Well, and that's why I need to be alone a lot, is because it can be overwhelming to not be in control of your own feelings because of what's going on around you.
Right. So do you think that your internal feelings are influenced so much by other people?
Absolutely.
In what ways?
Their approval or disapproval, and whatever their emotional state is. If they're okay, if they're suffering, or if they're happy.
Right. Dario wrote this about SI. Carefully compare situation to the customary ways you've come to rely on. Check with past experiences.
Mm-hmm.
Stabilize with a predictable standard. Stabilize the situation and invest in future security. And then the empirical observations were constant practice keeps their brain, helps their brain specialize. Improve when watching a role model or example. Often in touch with body sensations. Easily track where they are in a task. So what about that bit? Easily track where you are in a task.
Like if I'm halfway done or something like that?
You know that bit where it said that you do like to have detailed instructions?
Yeah.
And so when you're following those instructions, do you feel like you know where you are in that sequence?
Mm-hmm. And when I get the kids ready in the morning, I'm always like, okay, we got 20 minutes. Come on, we got to pick up the pace. And, I'll keep informing them, okay, 2 minutes. We got to be outside in 2 minutes. And, yeah, they're both very unaware of that stuff. So I don't know if that's the same as what you're asking me, but.
No, but easily track where them. Use the whole brain. When you said you could remember faces, no, it says here strong memory for kinship and raw details. Although you said you could remember faces very well, but not names. That's a different. What have we got here? Oh yeah, there's another. What was the other one? The other. Right, what have we got here? Oh yeah, learning and adaptation. is memorize, practice more, look to authority for guidance and proper form. But you did say before your memory is quite poor, but I think with SJ is they sort of like go over the same thing again, sort of rote memorization. I don't know if you make an effort to do that, to go over something again and again.
When I'm really interested in something and I do make an effort, I'm good at memorizing things. It's just things that, I don't know, things that I don't find that interesting, or little details, like dates.
Right.
Things that I have to do that I don't really feel like doing.
Right. So when you talked about, sorry for interrupting. When you talked there about making an effort to memorize, what's the process that you use in order to memorize?
Well, I like visuals. So when I'm trying to remember something, I'll usually picture it in my head. I do use a lot of repetition. I'll make things up, like something funny to associate with it, or like a little sing-song type of rhyme. These sort of associations.
No. So with the repetition thing, do you do that naturally, or because you've been told that that's a good way to memorize?
I guess I'm not sure. Been doing it for a long time, and also out of necessity, because it takes me a little while to really ingrain something. So
right, that's interesting, because that's what Dario says about SI types, is they do that rote memorization. That it's not just that they naturally have better memories; it's just that they're more willing to go over something again and again and again to like burn the pathways, as it were.
Oh.
And I do the same thing. Like when I really want to memorize something, I go through it again and again and again, like memorizing the Russian names for the nicknames for the types.
Mm-hmm.
Yesenin and Sturlitz and all that lot, and Gabin.
Oh, and I find that I can remember things much more quickly if I force myself to write it on paper, because then I have to go through the trouble of actually, I don't know, for some reason if I type something, it's just not as much effort or something. I don't know. But if I write it on a piece of paper, it helps.
And final question is, are you left-handed or right-handed?
Right-handed.
Right. Are you right-handed in like nearly everything you do?
I'm sorry, what?
Are you right-handed in nearly everything that you do?
Oh, yeah.
Right. Because some people are cross-dominant. Yeah. Well, yeah. Like for instance, with me, there are some things I use my left hand more for, but like maybe opening something. But it's not many. I'm mainly using the right hand. But with some people, they're cross-dominant, meaning like they prefer either hand, but for a particular task. So it's not that they're equally good with both hands. It's just that they use maybe their left hand for certain things that better than their right hand.
Mm-hmm.
So, for instance, an example would be you might have a someone who pitches left-handed and bats right-handed in baseball.
Well, I haven't come across anything where I felt more comfortable with using my left hand. But my son is like that, where he'll go back and forth depending on the task.
Ah, there you go. That's... Yes, depending on the task, yeah. So for certain tasks, he might prefer one hand. Or is he equally good with both hands?
I think he's equally good with both of his hands.
Right. So
but not with writing. He writes with his right hand, but uses his left hand a lot also.
Yeah, because one of the problems with writing left-handed is that you can't see what you've written because you're going across that way. Whereas has that benefit. Right then. I think that's pretty much it, unless you want to talk about any other weaknesses.
Oh Lord, I've already.
I saw you.
So
You did half a yawn there because of the lateness of the hour. Right. So if we start now, hopefully there's lots of material for Victor, and if you type that up, then we'll see what you get in terms of a diagnosis.
Awesome. Thank you.
Right. Let's stop this then. If you listen to all these folks, then good on you.